Alright, with this video I'm going to try to go over, it's going to be a little bit of a content heavy, complicated thing on foods and feeding, but I'll start it with some of the Half Black AOCs, also known as Half Black Leopards, I guess, overseas. These are the backup ones that I didn't pick as breeders, but I'll get to the ones I picked as breeders next. This one I didn't pick because it was more like a white fish with white tail and dorsal with kind of not a good pattern. So that fish, it might end up getting cold actually. This female was good, but I had to keep a few females that are good just in case the other ones kind of crap out. So this male I liked, but the dorsal didn't have the color yet, and that could change. This one, I don't know if it's going to be a male or a female. It's sort of developing a gonopodium, but it's got the shape of a female, so that one may get cold as well. So there's a few good ones in here. A few, like this one is decent, so I just kind of kept him in reserve. And next I'll go into the tank that has the ones I'm keeping as breeders. There's one more in the back. I was trying to get to come forward so you could see. It was a pretty nice fish. I think it was this one. No, that's the one that didn't have the color in the dorsal. Could be that guy. Yeah, that one is very nice. I almost picked him, but the tail edge is ragged, and I wasn't sure if he was bitten, kind of nipped, or if it was growing that way in genetics. So I just held him back in reserve. He's got a very nice dorsal, nice color, nice shape. It's a really good fish, so may end up using him as one of the ones that kind of stays. And I'll get to the next tank, which has the ones I selected as breeders. Just kind of hang in there. And it's in this tank. I'll try to get the light overhead a little bit better. As I scare the crap out of the fish. And once we get them away from the plants, this one was really beautiful. No problems that I could tell. So I selected this one close to the first that I pulled out of the other group. There's another one chasing a female right now that is also excellent. The females were all selected because of the shape and the size of them. These fish are 5 months old, so I wanted to get them started as breeders because this is a line that I'm going to have like a limited amount of. I'm just going to pick breeders and grow out babies in some different tanks and sell off a lot of them and just keep different groups as breeders. But very nice male. He's got a good half black color, nice dorsal. I'd like to see more of the black spotting in the dorsal, but that could develop. And this one's very nice. There really wasn't much wrong with that one. Same with this one. Great dorsal, nice tail, and good color. These aren't related to the Half Black Blue AOC things that I made with a cross. These are a great quality Half Black AOCs, and overseas, like I said, they call them Half Black Leopards. So I forget how many I picked. I think I took 4 pair, and get them to come out a little bit more. So you can see they have a little bit of a color forward of the half black coloration, which looks a little bit like a kind of a cobra pattern. So I'm sure that has something to do with the genetics, because usually you make a half black AOC by crossing a half black yellow fish with a snake skin, or really not cobra, because you won't get the nice spotting pattern with a cobra. And the difference between a cobra and a snakeskin is the intricacy of the pattern in the body. The snakeskin has like a very tight interlocking pattern, and the cobra has, usually it's just zebra-ness bars going up and down. But these are nice fish, good size, excellent color. I do have a tank of babies that I already moved out, and let me get to those. Let's see, sorry for the moving around. These I marked as from line 2, March 17th. It's kind of going to be hard to get them from the side. See if I can. And let's see if I can get them on here. Looks like we're getting the fish behind them. So here are the babies. And these, some of them, this one was a little bit older, but since it was within a couple of weeks, I moved him in this tank, and I'll pull that fish out once he develops sexually. And these are the small ones that are only about 5 days old. There's quite a few in there. I didn't count them, but some of them are already getting the half black coloration. So really nice. These are top quality line, excellent fish, and might be easier to get them from the top. Get that out of the way, and you can see they're in there anyway. I have water sprite plants at the top as well. So one of the other things I wanted to go over is foods and feeding. So let me stop the video and find something else to show you as I read from some stuff I wrote down. Okay, the rest of this video is just going to be it's a little heavy on information, but it's what I've found that's best, the foods for fancy guppies for maximum growth and conditioning. So I'll keep the camera on the pretty black Moscow breeders. There's one of the females down there. They're eating the powdery granule food that I mix up and make. But basically, whether you're interested in guppies to enter them in shows or to raise them for your own enjoyment, basically at some point you'll reach the decision that you want to provide the best foods you can to get the fish to grow fast, grow larger, and basically become baby making machines. So as I mentioned in prior videos, the absolute best possible food you can feed your guppies and pretty much all live bearers is live baby brine shrimp. One time a day is fantastic. There are some breeders that feed the babies and up to 4 months of age live baby brine shrimp twice a day, which I really can't do. So I just get in one feeding a day. And the problem for most people is, you have a job, you have a life, and it's not always easy to make the time to do the preparation for the live baby brine shrimp. But in reality, the really the best food you can feed is the live baby brine shrimp. And if you compare fish raised on live baby brine shrimp versus any other food, whether it's frozen baby brine shrimp or decaps or anything else really, you'll see the amount of growth is visible, and it'll be greater on the ones that are fed a feeding of live baby brine shrimp a day. So the other foods that are really good for them is live tubifex or blackworms. They're fantastic, but I've had issues in the past where the fish I've fed live worms to ended up getting some kind of disease issues, and I just gave up on it. The worms aren't clean. Takes too much to clean them continually, and they pretty much stink after a while. Daphnia is really good, but it's low in protein. So the live baby brine shrimp does a few things. One, it's an attractant for the young fish because of the movement. The nutrients and enzymes in a brine shrimp or live baby brine shrimp are very high, and they're not matched in frozen foods because they will decrease in the freezing process and after the death of the shrimp. So possibly the babies and the adults can smell the live baby brine shrimp. I really don't know on that. But the other thing, the live baby brine shrimp will also act as a laxative. So it's also best to feed the fish another feeding during the day of fine or dry foods or flake foods as well. So I try to feed 1 to 3 feedings a day. One is live baby brine shrimp. Another is the prepared powdery granule food that I mix up. And another one is flake foods that I mix up. And the reason for that is basically all the kinds of food you'd want to get into your fish to maximize their growth. You'd have to feed them like 15 times a day to get each thing in. So I try to use a food that keeps the protein level above 50%, supplies vitamins, spirulina, and is something that the fish can easily eat and will want to eat. Basically, it's attractive to them. So there wasn't one food on the market that did that. So I just researched what was best for feeding guppies besides live baby brine shrimp. And I came up with combining 6 or so various high protein, top quality foods. So the fish get all the needed nutrients in a couple of feedings. This part will be a shameless plug that I'm selling the mix of the foods that I've been using for years. It's a high protein, high density food that, among other things, contains decapsulated brine shrimp eggs, golden pearls, spirulina, commercial hatchery foods, and a few other things. And I'm not going to mention them all because now you can do it yourself. But it does get expensive to do it yourself. But anyway, this is the food. I got real nice labels made up. It says grade D high protein guppy food. This one is 4 ounces. And see if I can open one so you can get a look. Okay. And that's what it looks like. You can see the orange there. That's some of the decaps eggs. Let's see if I can reach in there without dropping everything. It's a pretty fine powder, but you can see there's also granules in there, and the fish go crazy for it. So I'll put some in while we're here talking and filming. So anyway, that's one of the things I use. And the other thing I do is I mix up a few different kinds of flake foods. So with that, I mix up an egg flake, a color flake, earthworm flake, spirulina, and sometimes I use a bloodworm or a other meat kind of flake. And what I do is I mix them in a bucket, which makes it a little easier to do that. And then I put them in put all of it into an old, basically an old fish food container that I've saved since us fish people never throw anything out. We just find ways to repurpose the stuff. So when I shake the food up in the container, it decreases the size of the flakes, because basically you want to remember that guppies have small mouths and prefer smaller bits of food. So for that reason, I don't feed them pellets that are larger than a millimeter. And don't feed too much or you'll foul the tank. So these are some of the foods that I mix up, the flake foods. So this is the before. This is it's an old large container of freeze-dried bloodworms, which I don't feed fish anymore. And what I do is I mix them in a bucket and then dump it all into another container. So yeah, this one is a 3-ounce container. You can see all different kinds of flake in there, and it's mostly smaller. So some of the ones I get it from various places, anybody that's reputable. Ken's Fish on these. This is a premium guppy flake. This one is a bloodworm flake, and this one is a brine shrimp flake, and this one is a spirulina, which I think might be the name of a couple of Italian chicks. So some other ones that I use Angel's Plus Food. This one is a color flake, and I like that he puts the food in these resealable, very thick, opaque bags, and you can reuse these. And on the back is a label of what the food is. So anyway, I mix them up, and let's see. I think other than that, it's self-evident on how the fish are going to eat the flake food. So go back to this. Some of the other things that you want to try to do, if you can, is a couple times a week maybe, feed them frozen adult brine shrimp or bloodworms. Beef heart's also great, but you really want to, if you use bloodworms, you want to chop them up with a razor blade so the fish don't choke on them, because like I said, they have a small mouth and it's easy for them to choke because they're trying to shove everything in they can. But you have to realize that once you start packing the food into the fish, you're really going to have to keep up on regular water changes. All the good work you're doing with the food could be undone very quickly if the water quality degrades. Because guppy growth is really a multi-layered operation. You need good food, good water quality, good genetics, and if your fish are hanging at the top, they're really stressed and they need a water change. If they just don't look right, I would also just do a water change. I do 30% a week. If I feed frozen foods 1 or 2 times a week, I'll do an extra water change, same amount, about 30%. And I also keep live water Sprite and or Java moss in all of my tanks for multiple reasons. It produces oxygen, absorbs carbon dioxide and ammonia, and it can also provide food for the fish at all times. Because guppies are going to eat as often as they can. They'll really eat once every hour. The plants also aid in filtering, which helps. So if you have live plants in the tank, when you do a water change, probably like every second or third one, you might want to take the plants out, put them in the bowl or the bucket of the water that you just took out, and shake it around. So that'll get some of the mold and the junk off of it. And while I'm talking to you, one of the females just started to have babies. There's one right there, so I'm going to have to get them out once she's done and put them somewhere else. But anyway, that's some of the things I wanted to go over. I know it's a long video and it's content heavy and information heavy, so if you get bored after a few minutes, turn it off, watch it again, the rest of it. But this is the kind of development you'll get out of the fish if you feed them well and you change the water. So these black Moscow males are excellent fish. They have a very wide tail, long dorsal, almost full black coloration. Really nice. The females have the long dorsal in this breeder tank, and a little bit of a strange caudal. Tail's a little bit like rounded, but I like these because I really like the long dorsal. So I also have a couple of shorter dorsal ones in there. So anyway, that's what I wanted to go over with getting the maximum growth out of your guppies with food. So if you have any questions or if you want to buy the food, you can email me. I'll put my email address in the description. And if you have any questions about fish, not mysteries of the world, I can help you out. Just email me. And I appreciate you watching and hanging in there on this longer video. Alright, thanks. Have a good one.